back to Big Shoulders, the show where we talk to the players in Chicago's thriving civic tech space. And today I have with me Jessica Malkin. And Jessica is she's the executive director with Chicago Ideas Week. Good to see you. Thanks for being on here.
Thank you.
I'm Adam Heckman. I'm Microsoft's Director of Technology and Civic Innovation for Chicago. And we're here to talk about Chicago Ideas Week, which is now in its 5th year, right?
Yes.
It's
yes,
fantastic.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Tell us what is Chicago Ideas Week?
So Chicago Ideas Week is an ideas and innovation platform where we design accessible programming for all people. It includes both stage programming and interactive lab experiences throughout the city of Chicago. We used to be centered around kind of 1 week in October, which we still have, which is 7 days of hundreds of speakers and hundreds of events. And now we have expanded that out so that we're also providing monthly programming, February through June.
So it's year-round.
It's got that year-round organic community.
That's great. And just to be clear, what is that week in October this year?
October 12th through the 18th, 2015.
Okay, the 12th through the 18th. And who goes to Chicago Ideas Weeks?
So the fun thing is that we get an incredibly diverse audience of people that are made up of all different industries. So you've got your technologist sitting next to your artist with your scientist and an architect all in the same room because they like the content and they like the speaker offerings that we have. So the whole purpose when we first started Chicago Ideas Week was that we wanted to create this cross-disciplinary platform, kind of like a hotbed of different types of individuals that could connect with each other. And it could mean that they start a new business together, they find a new partner, they're exposed to new experiences that inspire something creatively for them. So you'll get a variety of people depending on the type of session you go to.
And when you started 5 years ago, it was centered around that week. And that week was made up of a series of talks that would garner and convene all of these folks. Tell us what that week looks like.
Yep. So we have a few different types of programming. One are the talks. These are at cultural institutions in the city of Chicago. We really wanted to use the city as kind of our, canvas. And so we went to places like the Goodman Theater and the Museum of Contemporary Art and Cadillac Palace Theater, and we would do stage programming. So traditionally the talks are 90-minute sessions where we'll tackle one specific topic with 4 to 6 speakers providing their different perspectives on that topic. So it could be a session on health and living to 200, or a session on technology and the future of technology, and you have a whole lineup of technologists from all different spaces and covering all different types of topics. And those productions will be anywhere from like 200 people in the audience to 2,300 people, just depending on the time of day and what the program is. That's one piece of it, and it's huge, and that's where our over 180 speakers come in from all over the world to present from our stages.
In 1 week.
In 1 week. And then we do labs, which to me are the showcase of what the city has to offer, and it really exposes people to what's in their own backyard. And so what we do there is we work with different organizations from across the Chicagoland area, and we have them design out experiences for small groups of people to get a hands-on feel for what they do. So for example, with Ideo, we'll go sit down with them and we'll ask them to design an experience that their clients might get as a part of being in the room with them. So they may say, okay, look at a spoon. How could a spoon be improved? And they'll walk this group of attendees from Chicago Ideas Week with like 25 or 30 people through a process of understanding how Ideo tackles difficult problems and comes up with solutions. And so it could be that they've got masking tape and they're adding on, additional metal pieces, and they're literally creating and building something with those designers. But that's an experience that you don't get unless you're like some major brand or you're Apple and you hire Ideo to design an iPod.
And you're a citizen. You're coming in,
right.
And next thing you know, you're designing something with Ideo.
Right, and it's $15 to attend anything at Ideas Week.
That's
so
right.
That's
so
also
any
like
session
a huge.
Is $15.
Any session is $15, and so that's a big differentiator when you look at the quality of programming that's happening on a global level. In terms of all these conferences and offerings around ideas, traditionally the cost is around $7,500 to $8,500 minimum without travel. and you've got to go fly across the globe to get there, or to places that are not that easy or are very expensive. And what we're offering here in the city of Chicago, which I think is really unique, is the same caliber of programming at a $15 price point.
And the city is your canvas. The
Exactly,
city is
which is
your
so
campus.
fun. Yes.
That's fantastic.
So Ideo is one example. Another one that's always fun is Lifeway Foods, which manufactures kefir up in the suburbs, and they actually open up their plant, and our attendees have gotten to go and actually design their own flavors of kefir.
Yeah.
And I think 2 or 3 years ago, they actually ended up utilizing that kind of session to release a new product on the market.
Well, so they've commercialized something that's come out
Exactly.
of Ideas Week.
Which is so fun. So we do 100 of those throughout the course of the week.
Wow.
So really you get an offering of anything that's sort of from a business perspective. You're looking at manufacturing, you're looking at creative design. You might go behind the scenes at Maggie Daly Park before it opens and hear from Rich Daly on his vision for that park. You might go on a bike ride with the mayor, with Mayor Emanuel, and have lunch with him and tell him the issues that you care about. I mean, these are things that we like to provide an accessible, flat platform so that you don't need to be a big donor in order to get that kind of access.
Tell me a little bit about the activities that take place outside of that individual week. Tell me about all the events that take place leading up to it.
So one of the things, I think around year 3, we started to hear from a lot of people who would attend Ideas Week annually that 1 week is great, but they were hungry for that kind of ideas and innovation community all year long, and what could we provide to them in terms of a platform or an opportunity to connect. So we've done a few things. One is actually on Monday, February 2nd, we'll launch our first year-round program this year with a guy named Mick Ebeling. And he'll sit down with a woman from Northwestern, Jeannie Marie Olson, who was one of the, I think she was one of the early folks behind Design for America, which is a program up at Northwestern. And they'll have a conversation. And so that'll be, 200 people, but it's an opportunity for our community to come back together. So we'll do a monthly program like that, so a conversation. We've got actually Congressman John Lewis coming in at the end of March to have a conversation about the state of civil rights. Obviously a really important moment in history right now, so getting his perspective will be fascinating. And then we do a variety of different kind of labs and interactions on a monthly basis as well, in addition to that one formal program.
Terrific.
So that's one piece of it. The other piece of it is that we have something called the CoOp, which is something that was inspired coming out of year 1, when we realized that we had the benefit at Chicago Ideas Week of connecting with all of these incredible people in like the 77 neighborhoods that exist in the city of Chicago. And yet they were all working on these really compelling topics, and nobody knew that there was somebody 2 blocks over or 2 neighborhoods over that was working on something similar, and they could help each other. And so one thing that we did was create something called the CoOp, and it's 85 people, and they're literally like a hand-picked group of young and old leaders from all different industries that come together for the sole purpose of connecting to create a better Chicago. And so those are 10 events during the course of the year where we bring that group together.
That's interesting. This is obviously a show about civic technology, and that sort of speaks to the civic engagement side of things. What other types of speakers, activities, events do you have that would speak to a civic technology audience?
Right. So coming out of year 1 of Chicago Ideas Week as well, we met with the mayor's office, and one of the observations that we were making at the time was the immense brain drain that happens out of our universities, despite the fact that universities like University of Illinois are delivering huge amounts of engineering students out to the West Coast. And how do we convince those students to stay here in the city? And a lot of them were unaware of the many things that were occurring here because they just didn't have a good pipeline. And so with the mayor's office and the University of Illinois, we created something called Think Chicago. And the idea was to leverage Ideas Week as this moment during the course of the year where those students would get access not only to the programming that we were doing so that they could see Chicago in a different light and understand the energy and the excitement there, but then also set up strategic tours at many organizations like a Microsoft, like Kira. I mean, all of these different sort of major employers in the city of Chicago that were hungry to hire high-performing engineering students out of college. And so we did that. We also then give them access to the mayor's office. The mayor sits down with the group. We give them access to additional entrepreneurs to get some feedback on what they need to be thinking about and preparing for. And so that program has expanded out. We not only do it during October, during Ideas Week, but we also now have a partnership with Lollapalooza as well.
I was going to ask you if it's a coincidence that you bring them in the week of Lollapalooza.
Right. No coincidence. It's a good carrot.
Yeah. It's a
So
great carrot.
who doesn't want to see behind the scenes at Lollapalooza? So
I have been the last speaker that they have seen speak before going out to Lollapalooza.
I'm sorry for that.
No, it was great. They stayed engaged.
I
Yes.
was going to say, you probably had a big audience. So that program's been really successful. We've had almost 700 students come through it
Oh, that's
since we started.
fantastic.
And a lot of them have ended up staying and either creating companies here or connecting and getting jobs through some of the many organizations
So
here.
from a civic standpoint, you're able to point to some successes even though it's only 5 years
Yes.
in. That's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
It's great.
How can people who want to attend any of the Chicago Ideas Week sessions either during that week or before find out about it?
So all of our past videos and access to our current schedule can be found at chicagoideas.com. It's $15 to attend anything. You can also become a member for as little as $100 and get access to free tickets, discounted tickets, access to members-only labs that we do throughout the course of the year. So lots of ways to connect with us all year long.
And from somebody who has attended, your best deal is becoming a member because you do get the best access for the best price. Jessica Malkin, thank you very much for
Thank
taking
you
the
for
time.
having me.
This has been Big Shoulders.